Hey, welcome back to an episode of the JUAN Podcast. I'm your host, Juan. As always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Yo, my man, my guy. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm feeling great. Not that great, but great. Like in in an energy level, I'm bringing it up top right now. And in like 15 minutes, I'm gonna be way down. I got to start up high because my boys. I quit. I'm done. I quit.
He quit his job, guys. To be clear, he quit his job, not the podcast.
I quit the podcast and my job. I'm not. Nope. This was the last episode of the podcast I'll ever do.
You did it. You finally did the joke where you're the one that quit, because it's usually me making you quit or saying that you quit.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, man. Last episode of this podcast, I'm going to do a spin-off podcast from now on with somebody different than Juan. We have creative differences. It's fine. Some of us liked the show we're reviewing. Others didn't really have much of an opinion at all. Pacific Rim the Black. Yeah?
Pacific Rim the Black. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. It's on Netflix. I'm sure everybody that has Netflix, it's on there for free. People get mad sometimes when we say that, because Netflix isn't free. You know, you have to pay for it or whatever. But anyways, it's on Netflix.
Time to talk about Netflix for a second. They must have recently implemented new screen limits. So, like, you know, multiple people streaming from the same account at the same time. I think that they've implemented new screen limits for that. And I don't know what they are. My sister hit me up when I was watching Pacific Rim and was like, what the fuck is this shit? Why can't I watch Netflix right now? I'm like, oh man, I don't know. Because I know that it used to be fine with like the 3 people who have this account all watching it. I guess they changed stuff. Go ahead and upgrade our account. So that's kind of shitty. But then she was like, hey, I texted mom and she said that you pay for the account now. I'm like, yeah, that's why I told you to upgrade it. She's like, I thought you were just being bold as hell. I was like, no.
Yeah, it looks. I looked it up real quick because you were curious, I guess. Basic, $9 a month, you get 1 screen. Standard, which is $13.99, you get 2 screens, and then premium for $18, you get 4 screens.
I don't need that right now.
Yeah,
maybe next
since
month.
You quit your job.
Hey. Yeah, it was a difficult decision to come to, but by last week's episode I already kind of realized, I gotta get done. And then I waited a couple of days because wasn't sure, when I should give my final date, and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I should just say I quit and not give a final date. So that's what I did. I want to transition somebody else into my job, just so shit doesn't completely go south. But I also said I'm going to be done mid-April. That's going to be my last day. So I didn't give any specific date, but I will figure that out as soon as they kind of communicate with me who's going to be taking over, what's going to be happening. I feel like there isn't a sense of urgency at this company right now, which is weird because I quit, but also Leandra quit. My coworker, our old friend, she quit.
Old as in the past, not as in old as in age-wise.
Our age-old friend, and she had like an entire schedule for this month that need people to cover for her now, right? Mm-hmm. Today we were sent a fax. It's been 1 full week. They sent a fax and they were like, hey, if any volunteers would like to take this shift, like they they somehow didn't plan until now what to do about her time. And now I'm wondering, what are they going to do for me? Like, they waited a week for her, but my position is much more important and difficult to fill. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm growing more and more concerned that, like, despite me trying to be like, hey, yeah, just so you know, like, I'll be here to make the transition smooth and easy, I have a worry that it's just going to wind up being difficult no matter what. So, fuck it.
So, curious, I've never quit a job just because I've only ever worked at Gordo, or where else did I work? TV station? Didn't technically work there, volunteered there. Anyways, was it an email, phone call, just
I waited for him in person because this was a
Okay.
little bit different.
Yeah.
Since I didn't give a final day, since it wasn't like an official, hey, here's,
Here's my 2 weeks.
it was
yeah.
I came to the realization I should find a different job and I shouldn't work with the public anymore. And it sucks, but that's the case. So last day is going to be next month. And then, yeah, we just talked a little bit. He
cried, obviously.
He cried, obviously. No, he's super nice. I really like my general manager as a person. He's a great dude. And one of the things I was talking to everyone about that day is I'm just like, I don't think he's gonna give me the reaction that I would feel best with. I feel like he's gonna be too supportive, which I don't want him to be too supportive, because then it feels like he has no idea that I fucking matter so much to this company. Which I'm gonna talk like very, very openly about the impact that I've had at the company. But essentially, yeah, he is just such a nice guy that he's so supportive of everyone, and that's awesome. That's great. But I definitely want to be like, okay, that's going to cause an issue for us. We have to start planning. Because I also feel like he needs to start planning about stuff in the future, and so do our owners, and just, I don't know, I'm concerned. I'm more and more concerned, right, as it's leading up to this. And then he does this whole thing where he fake storms off for like 2 seconds, and then he's like, no, totally, like, I'm so happy that you realized, this job wasn't making you happy or fulfilled or whatever in whatever way. Like, you're so nice. So I was just like, I talked to everyone, said that you're going to be way too nice about this. Can't you, like, be a little bit upset? And he's like, I pretended to storm off. So he at least knows that he comes off as incredibly nice. And I don't know, it's funny. But I'm donezo, and they haven't been telling me what's going on yet. And I don't want to announce it to the company that I'm quitting, because I feel like if I do that, then rumors start going around, which they immediately did. I texted a few people and were like, hey, just a heads up, like, I am quitting, so it's all good. Just realized job's not for me. And then immediately rumors start, and they're like, yep, I heard he's really unhappy with how the company's running. And I'm like, no.
I mean, it's true. You are unhappy with the.
That's not why I quit. That is not at all why I quit. Scandal.
That's the reason he quit.
If there are problems, I'll deal with them. I'll whine about them. I'll bitch about them. That's just kind of how I vent. But in general, things are, exactly how they were when I took the job. So I quit because I came to a realization I can't work with the general public without feeling completely drained by the time I get home. I'm way too introverted. So that's just how I am. And yeah, immediately they were just like, Chris is just quitting because he's so mad at the company. I'm like, what the fuck is this going on? Like, I'm just tired. I'm really tired. Like, if you talk to me outside of work ever, you would know that. But you just talk to me at work about work. Like, it's fine. But I'm not the person I am at work. The person I am at work is just like a very friendly, for no reason guy. Like, somebody on the phone was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. I was so surprised by how excited you were. Just because I'm like, hi, yeah, I'm, this person looking for this thing, whatever. That's...
I get it.
That's
You're
who
done.
I am at
Makes
work.
sense. Yeah.
Anyways.
You're just kind of over it.
Long story short, I quit. And I'm pretty excited about whatever's, whatever.
Yet.
There's always an opportunity. I think that when we quit, it'll be a very mutual thing,
Or a sex scandal. Yeah, one of the two.
But that's kind of what makes it mutual, right?
The sex scandal?
Yeah.
No, I think it's funny that that when you quit, if you give this a same spiel, like, I'm just, I'm not upset with the company. It's just, I'm tired. I'm just tired of doing this thing I do.
I'm just fucking sick of it. No.
Just sick of it.
Like today, somebody came in and they wound up just talking and venting for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, cool, that's not what I signed up for. It's a pandemic. Please don't come
Go
into my
away.
office.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you for 30 minutes for no reason. And that's consistent. Like every single day, there are people that just want to talk. And you look at the phone afterwards and you're like, 15 minutes for nothing. Nothing. That could have been like a text. Just like, hey, what this? This, that. Done.
Yeah. Well,
I'm tired, man.
it's okay.
I can't
It's almost
take it.
over.
My
It's almost
brain
over.
just stops, and then I just make mistakes. That's what I feel bad about, is whenever somebody throws me off my game so hard, I'm just making mistakes all the time. You know,
Besides
me.
quitting your job, what else have you been up to this week?
That's it, honestly.
That's the highlight of your week.
I do nothing. I sit at home, I play video games. Like, what do you want, man? I quit. That was huge.
That was pretty big, I guess. Whatever.
That was big. So yeah, the rest of the week I haven't been doing shit, man. I've been playing some games here and there. I beat all of Super Mario 3D World. Very solid. Champions Road, or whatever the fuck they call it, is a fantastic little run through of pretty much every mechanic in the entire game strung together in very difficult sequences. It's so much fun, and I had beaten it before, so when I played it again, I wasn't sure if I was going to either have an easier time or just as difficult of a time because it's been so long. But I played as a different character back then. I was playing as Peach, and Josh was playing as Rosalina. Both have different kinds of jump mechanics. Peach gets to hover. At the height of her jump, she starts hovering. Rosalina gets to press another button and get a little double jump out of it, and it's also an attack. So it's like a big change. I played it with her, had a significantly easier time. I think I beat it in like a fourth of the time that it took me originally. That might be an exaggeration, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. So then after that, I played some Tetris and unlocked. There was a special Tetris weekend for Bowser's Fury stuff. So you got like a Bowser's Fury theme. And goddamn, dude, the song sounds like One Winged Angel. Sounds like Sephiroth's theme song. And it was so rad. Definitely enjoy playing Tetris more with this theme, which is crazy to me. Then I actually played Bowser's Fury, which I've been waiting for like a long time. So game talk. Bowser's Fury is a very short, very, very cool open 3D Mario game. So it starts out and it seems very linear, and it opens up into a large world. You can kind of go all around it. And it has like a few different stages that are just like gates that exist on the map. So you can approach them. Like you could go from one to another if you wanted to. And you could just, I don't know. It doesn't really progress you. It doesn't really do anything. But it's all like mixed together, but also completely separate. It's very cool how they made it work out. And then once you finish this hub area, you open another one. And they're all strung together in like islands. So you hop on Plessy and you go around, and it's really cool. And then every once in a while you're doing all of this, Bowser is building up in the background. There's some like weird fluid that's made him extra evil. Bowser Jr. wants you to help him out and bring back his dad, so you do, because Mario's the nicest guy ever. And you get attacked by a giant fucking Bowser, and when that's happening, it changes the level to both make it easier and change up the world entirely, like to force you down different paths and whatnot. It's very cool. It's super rad. And then during that, you can like, after you get enough of the cat shines, which are like the important big item to collect in the game, once you get enough of those, it activates this bell that turns Mario into a giant Super Saiyan cat, and you go and you duke it out with this like black sludge Bowser boy. It's a lot of fun, and holy shit, it's so easy and satisfying to play. It took me maybe like 5 hours to complete everything in it, and it was just a thrill the entire time I played it. I highly recommend it for any fan of Mario Odyssey, this game essentially gives you Odyssey vibes with old like Mario 3D World mechanics, and changes the way that the whole world feels, because it becomes one giant connected map by the end of it, to where you're just going from like place to place, and you could like teleport, fast travel between the different areas too. And when Bowser's attacking, it gives you a big arena to like go and try to get to special other things that only appear on the map when Bowser's actually doing stuff. Fuck, it was cool. The music too, just every part of it, fascinating. And I know you don't really play games or anything, Juan, but this was such an incredible game. I don't know. It was something special. It was something very special that needed to be like 4 times bigger to be a full game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really happy they didn't do that, and they just gave us a little taste of it, because the next Mario project, I feel like, just has so much that could go into it now that they know that this open hub world kind of area works really well in a Mario game. I feel like that's something that we're going to see again. They might expand upon it, they might not. But the platforming is just so solid. Like the challenging sections in it, not too hard, because at each like point that you get to a more challenging bit, you're already really familiar with the mechanics of the game. It just shows how good Nintendo is at teaching the player how to play their games and slowly upping that difficulty curve to keep up with any kind of a normal player. Yeah, super great time. That's all I've done. I've also played Loop Hero, which is too difficult to explain, but it is an incredible game that I absolutely love. Thought about streaming it, but I decided it would be more fun to just kind of play it passively and just in my downtime. So yeah.
Yeah. So is there, you said for the next Mario project, you think it's going to be kind of like this hub world thing? Because I
think that they're going to take elements of that for sure.
Because the only Mario project that I'm excited for is the Mario Golf whenever that drops.
It's going to be dope.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad you were able to, play some games you like and, have a good time. So.
Me too. I think it resized our images on OBS for some reason. It's weird. We'll figure that out another time. Fuck it. Yeah, man, I really had a good time with that. And the next game I'm going to look forward to, of course, is Monster Hunter. So Loop Hero is going to be a nice little break in between stuff. And whenever I can't get friends together to play Sea of Thieves. We also had a nice little spooky time, played a little bit of Phasmophobia. It was, it was the same old stuff that we've always loved and enjoyed, but now we got more of it because, they've done some updates and we wanted to check out the live build of those updates. Yeah. Or not the live build, but, the most current, whatever, fuck it. Doesn't matter. We had fun.
It has officially hit the 15-minute mark, and Trip's energy has waned. It is now down.
I told you, man, I could start high, and now I'm like, yeah, all right, your turn. I just needed to talk it out while I had the energy. I knew exactly how much I had in me. Yeah,
that's fair. Let's see, what have I been up to? This week going to the dentist. It's funny how your weeks and my weeks kind of differ. Your weeks are pretty like, work stuff and then video game stuff. And mine's just like very mundane things, animating. That's about it though. And then what I watched, right? It's just kind of how we do things. But anyways, went to the dentist. He filled, I think I told you what last time I went to the dentist. I was like, hey, I have these 3 things. Can you check them out? And he's like, oh, you're right. Those are 3 things I should check out. So a filling popped out. So he had to replace the filling. And then I bit a fork. So one of my front teeth got like chipped.
You said that last week on the podcast, actually, and before you continue, our homie Sandcastle Man, who we've brought up before on Twitter, did the exact same thing that week.
Bro, sometimes you gotta bite a fork. Sierra was really upset with me.
And his wife was very upset with him, so.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, man. Thank you for, speaking up and letting me know that I'm not alone in the world. So he had to replace it because it was like kind of like the chip was sharp and it hurt my tongue. Anyways, he's doing the things. My dentist is a pretty dope dude. He always forgets who I am because me, my brother, and my dad all go to him, and he'll come in and be like, "Oh, you're the artsy brother. You're not the shoe brother." That's like how he defines us. One of us animates, and the other one collects shoes. And I was like, "Yep, I am the better. I am the not as good looking brother." And he's like, "Oh, I didn't say that." I was like, "No, but that's what you meant." Just to make him feel weird. He likes to talk about a lot of weird things. He's Asian American, so he likes to kind of tell me things like what it was like growing up for him, and he expects me to reciprocate like similar things. He'll be like, "Hey," he'll be like, "As a Mexican," and he'll be like, ask me a question. I go, "Wow, it's a really weird thing to ask somebody while you have your fucking fists in my mouth." But okay, here we're talking about this. We had finished talking. He finished doing his stuff, and then he just kind of chilled. He like laid back and just started like chatting me up, which I usually wouldn't have an issue with, except it was like 8 a.m. Because I had made my appointment for. It was going to be I didn't know this when I made the appointment, but it ended up being the same day that I was going to get my second vaccine. So I called in and said, "Hey, can I make either the appointment earlier or can I push it to a later date?" And so they said, "Sure, we'll push it to a later date." And then they did, and they called me back and said, "Hey, can you come in that same later date, but at 8 a.m? And I was like, "No, fuck you. I don't want to do that." And they said, "Okay, well then can you come tomorrow at 8 a.m?" And I was like, "I also don't want to do that." It's like, "Okay, well the other option is to see you in like a month and a half." I was like, "Okay, cool. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. I guess that's my only thing. So anyways, I was like, I just want to leave this office. I'm done with the thing. And then he said something really funny, which kind of, I don't know, took me back. But he's like, "Hey man, just so you know, the chip that we fixed in the front, I just, had to nub it down a little bit to make it smooth. And then, I put the stuff on to fix the chip." He goes like, "It looks great, by the way." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. Thank you for complimenting your own work." And he goes, "So now when you bite, try not to do like a hard biting and pulling motion. So like if you're going to eat jerky, then maybe don't eat on that side of your mouth." And I go, "Okay, cool. Is that for a day or two while it sets or something?" And he goes like, "All right." And he kind of stops. I'm like, "Is that like a forever thing?" He was like, "Yeah, that chip is now like that tooth is a smile tooth and not a chewing tooth." And I go, "Well, that's fucking horrible." And he goes like, "Yeah, but if it ever pops off, come back in. I'll fix it for free for the rest of your life." I was like, "Okay, well, that's nice." And I was thinking about, I was like, "Oh, that sucks. I can't have jerky." And I was like, "You know what? I don't fucking like jerky. Honestly, Trip, I think jerky is something that it's like an old person snack. I've never had a piece of jerky. Every time I bought jerky several times. And every time I buy it, I'm always disappointed. I go, this isn't as good as I thought it'd be. It's either too salty or just like too soft or whatever. Like it's like that fake stuff." So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I guess I just won't have jerky ever again.
I think it depends on the brand too. But I've
totally
had a lot
of
you,
brands,
man.
dude. I've had a lot of brands.
I believe it. I believe it. But yeah, jerky, you're not missing out. Here's the thing, though. It's not just jerky, so remember
No, I know
that.
there's other things. Yeah, I know it's other. Yeah,
I go, hey, bud.
This tooth can eat anything except for jerky. No, he made it clear. I was like, "Oh, cool, it's fine." And then Sarah says like, "You should have just lived with it." I was like, "No, fuck that. It was bugging me. It was too sharp." And I was like, that's just the facts of life. So,
well, if you ever decide, fuck it.
Yeah.
Now you're good.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. So that was fun. Also, this happened last month, but I didn't mention it to you because I forgot. But I went to the eye doctor, and it was just my yearly eye exam, and I kind of already knew going in, like, yeah, my eyes have gotten like a little worse, but not so bad where I'd need a new glasses or new prescription kind of thing. And so I'm walking up, and while I'm walking up and signing in, the lady goes, "Oh, by the way, you're going to be with Dr. So-and-so because your last eye doctor has retired." And I was like, "Okay, cool, no worries." I mean, I only knew him the one time, so it's not like I don't have like a huge, bond with this guy that, puffs air into my fucking eyes. So, I walk up to him. We're all masked up. He grabs my chart, and I go, "Hey, nice to meet you." And he goes, he said something like, "I think we've actually met before." He goes, "You're on my charts." So, and I go, in my head, I was like, she just told me this is the first time I've seen you because my last guy retired. And I go, okay. And that was what went in my head. And what I said was, okay, well, I've never met you before, so it's nice to meet you. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Why did I say that way?
You're a punk bitch, man.
I don't know what it was. I was just like, God, something about this guy, like the two.
If I were being that, like, if I was that doctor and I genuinely thought I met you, and you came back at me with that, I would be like,
well, I don't know what it was.
Well,
I was kind of baffled. I was just like, oh, that was a little aggressive. It's just maybe the way he said it that kind of ticked me off a bit. I was like, anyway, so we did our thing, and we're sitting down and he's doing the eye parts, and he's just like, so he goes, how are your eyes? And I go like, oh well, I was explaining to him, I think they've gotten like a little worse, but it's not too surprising. And like also because of what I do, I look a lot at my computer screen. And he goes like, oh, what do you do? He goes like, oh, I'm an animator. And he goes, He kind of like perks up, goes like, oh, and he goes, what kind of animations do you do? I was like, well, right now, like it's just kind of general stuff, but the goal is to get into game animation. And he goes, and I was like, what is this guy fucking, what is his deal? And he goes, yeah, what program do you use to do your animations? Like Maya, it's kind of like industry standard. And he goes like, yeah, I've heard of Maya. He goes, I do my animations in Flash. And I was like, oh, and I was like, cool. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. I was like, Flash is like, I told him it's called Adobe Animate now. He's like, yeah. He's like, but I've been doing it for a while back when it was Flash. But yeah, now it's called Animate, and that's what I just kind of.
But it's all it's all part of the same thing. But yeah, it's
like, I go cool. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, what do you do? He's like, what kind of animations do you do? Because like obviously, I was like, obviously that's not like this is your real job. You're optometrist. Like, so what do you do? And he goes like, well, he goes, the animation I do is it's pretty simple. He goes, most of my animation is it's actually 4 games. I do a lot of programming in Flash. I was like, oh, cool. You make Flash games. He was like, yeah. He was like, I do. Well, I make one Flash game. I'm making a game. I was like, okay, cool. What kind of game is it? And he goes, I shit you not, Trip. He goes, do you know what Warhammer Fantasy is? I was like, yes, I do. The tabletop game. He's like, yep. He goes like, yeah, well, I'm a huge fan of that, and I play it a bunch. And these are all the armies I have, and I have one buddy that I play with. And we go to tournaments, and I paint my models. He's like just spewing his like nerdiness on me.
He's like, "We did it. We got there." I'm saying everything.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. The floodgates had opened. He's just let everything out, and he's just like, yeah. And so since Age of Sigmar came out, which is like the updated version, this is the current Warhammer Fantasy. He goes like, it just isn't current. It's been out for years now. He goes like, I don't like it, so I don't play it. So I only play fantasy. He's like. And it's like, and when I can't play with my friends in person, because like of the pandemic, especially this year, it's like we'll go online and play this, this on an online thing that does the tabletop game for me. It's like, but years ago, I kind of looked at it and I decided, you know what? There could be a better version of this that could fit on your phone, like a mobile version of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He's like, so for the last 6 years, I've been working on this mobile game in Flash and doing the animations in Flash and coding in Flash. He goes, and I hope to one day bump it up and do it in Unity, which a lot of games are done in Unity. That's the game stuff I did. The coding I did in college was in Unity, which is like a free program. I was like, oh, cool. I'm like, that sounds super dope. And then we just kind of talked about Warhammer and stuff like, because like I told him like, oh, I never played Warhammer Fantasy. I played Mordheim, which is kind of like, he was like, oh, I know exactly what this is. Like, okay, cool. And I was like, and I go, I don't play 40K. I play Kill Team. And he goes like, oh, I know what that is too. So we're just kind of chatting it up. And then I shit you not, Trip, he kind of goes, do you want to look at my game? I can pull it up. It's like right here on the computer. And I go, oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. Maybe when we're done with the eye exam, we can look at it. He hadn't even done my exam. Like he had still needed to do the entire exam. He's like,
I thought this was while it was going on. No. A or B. Anyways.
No, everything paused and we just talked. And then we did the thing. And then he's just like, okay, cool. And like, again, not to be mean, but I did just want to go home because I don't want to be out if I don't have to be out, So we're sitting there, and he goes like, "Okay, cool." It's like, so you think you're gonna, you'll be getting glasses a day, or I was like, no, like, because he was right. Only one of my eyes had gotten a little bit worse, but nothing to like a degree or whatever, like nothing to the point of like where I'd need absolutely new glasses. I'm like, no, honestly, like I'll probably wait till next time I have to get my eyes checked. He's like, oh, that's cool, yeah, no. He's like, I understand. He's like, well, your prescription is on file here, so if you need it for whatever reason, give us a call. And then he goes, is there anything else I can help you with? And I was like, oh my God, he really is baiting me to ask him to look at his game. And I was like, nope. No, I'm good. thank you for everything. He's like, okay, well, have a good day. He's like, you too, have a good day. And I left the the doctor or whatever, and I was like, oh man, I might have broke that man's heart. I told myself, I promise the next time I go get my eyes checked, I'm gonna ask to see his game, because he was really proud of it. So yes, rocky start with my new eye doctor, but at the end, I think I found the one person in the world that understood everything about him.
But like, if next time you go there and he starts out with all right, well, you're a new patient of mine, so how do you do that?
If he says a new patient, I'm gonna be like, I'll be nicer about it. I'll be like, I sure am. And as a new patient of yours, I would love to see your Warhammer mobile game that you've been developing in Flash for the last 6 years.
You would start your relationship
over again. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to re-zero it and have to, start from like, no, I'd want to start from this loading point. This is the level we're at, dude.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Yeah. Good. So it was, I can't believe I forgot to tell you about that. But yeah, I was like, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, I'm like probably the one person, ever that's walked into his chair and like knew exactly what he was talking about and like understood what he was saying. He was like, yeah, man, it was like at one point in time, because I guess he wasn't full time at the iPlace that he is now. He was like, at one point in time, I was working 6 days a week, 3 here and then 3 in Roseville or whatever, commuting and stuff, and it became a lot. So I would do that, and then I'd go home and I would just work on my game, hours just late at night. He's like, now I'm full time here, and now I just like my weekends are just time for me to code. And it's like, and that's just like kind of it's my solace. It's like, dude, that's super cool. I'm really happy for you. Can you check my eyes, please, so I can leave? I was like, dope, dude. I think it's great that this guy has been making this thing. I was kind of curious, like on the drive home, to what the quality was, but I was like, yeah, maybe there's something there. Maybe a year from now when I get my eyes checked again, I'll be like, hey man, this looks great. Let me hook you up with some people that know how to, that have studied, programming, and maybe they can get this actually off the ground if that's what your dream is. Because that's his dream, is to get this mobile game to people. It's like, yeah, okay, well, maybe one person for 6 years, maybe it's time for you to get a little bit of some team in there so this thing gets done. Someday.
Well, in a very similar but opposite kind of thing, instead of being like, oh yeah, I know everything about you, it was this morning at work where we had 3 move-in appointments scheduled like 15 minutes apart, and it started right when we opened at 10 a.m. So this girl walks in that I've never seen before, which means that it's a new person. And I'm like, hey, are you here for your move-in appointment at 10? And she was like, yeah. And then she turns, and I see that she's wearing like a turquoise jumpsuit thing. But then her shirt is Sailor Moon underneath. And I'm like, oh man, I dig the shirt. Pretty rad. And she says like nothing. And I'm just confused. Like, okay, that was weird that she didn't respond at all. Maybe it's a little bit early.
Most people are down to,
whatever. Like if you're doing nerd shit, most people are down for talking nerd shit. It turned out that this was not our 10 a.m. appointment, but every step of the way, all the questions that we asked, she was like, yeah. She's actually, we had her do some weird shit last month where she was supposed to move in at the beginning of the month, and she was like, I'm on vacation. I'll let you know when I'm back in town. And I'm already paying for the apartment, so it's all mine. Don't worry about it. And we're like, okay, cool. And she just showed up randomly on the one day.
I'm ready to move in.
Yeah, on the one day where we have a shit ton of appointments in the morning, where we checked every step of the way, and she wasn't paying any attention and just kept going, uh-huh. And then I saw like a weed tattoo on her neck, and I was like,
you're like,
cool. She's fucking zonked. She doesn't know what's going on. Thought she was just tired or something. Nah, she's like not even here in space right now. So that was a weird way to start my morning, and another reason why I'm like, I'm done with these people.
Dude, like, I forgot to mention that midway through mine and my eye doctor's conversation, he was looking at my charts, and he said, oh, you are right, it looks like the last person you saw here was Dr. So-and-so. So I was like, that's fucking right. I was right, you dumb piece of shit.
Yeah, at that point he already admitted that he was wrong.
He knew he was wrong. I was just like, maybe you shouldn't come at someone the way you did. I should have came at you the way I did. Yeah, but you know what? We became friends at the end, I think.
But maybe you should have asked to see his game.
Yeah, I should have.
At that
He's
point
like,
where he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you are right. This is the first time I've seen you before."
I go, you are right. I am right.
Damn straight.
Now,
we could have broke down about your game, but nah, you had to come in here like, "Oh yeah, no, I know who you fucking are."
And Trip, with one of the off reasons, like it really was like, oh man, I wish I would have looked at it. What if it was fucking amazing? Like, what if it was like one of the best mobile games I've ever seen, and been like, why isn't this out? What are you doing, dude? You're a genius. Stop being an eye doctor. You should just program video games. But I mean, I don't think that's the situation, but I am curious to see it in the future.
Oh, man,
let's see.
We'll be playing that in like 10 years from now.
I would play it. I mean, it's like if it was out or whatever, it's like, yeah, I like that game, and it's on my phone. It's one of the only ways I actually play games. Let's see what else. Okay, this happened last week, but forgot to mention to it. A Facebook group got made for my high school 10-year reunion because this is the year.
You guys actually had that, huh?
Mm-hmm. So this is the year. Someone from my class and 4 different like admins made a group, and they said, hey, this is where we're going to be talking about this happening. People start sending like invites to your friends who you knew graduated the same year. Let's see what we can get going or whatever. And I was like, wow, it's 10 years. And it kind of hit me. I was like, that's nuts. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll add to the group. What's the harm? And me and Sierra have joked about it that we'll go to the kids. Don't go, who cares? Like, but if there isn't an open bar, we're for sure not going. If there's an open bar, I'm fucking there, kind of thing. That's kind of like the deciding factor. People who have made the group we're all really very Christian, very like good kids, like on the straight and narrow. So I was like, this could be like not the funnest 10-year reunion because of who's organizing it. It's like, but keep my mind open or whatever. So for the first few days, like it was just slowly people just kind of adding, and every now and then someone would comment and be like, wow, it's been 10 years. That's nuts. Or like, hey, here's a photo of like me when I graduated, kind of thing. So I think we collected like about 150 people were in the group at a certain time. And then someone from the admin file put up a post that said like, hey guys, like what day would you guys like, what months, kind of to figure out when we can start doing this. And, the options weren't the best. But then someone kind of came up with the ideas like, hey, we graduated 2011, COVID's a big thing. Maybe we don't meet this year. Maybe we'll meet next year. So we'll have an 11-year reunion instead of a 10-year reunion. And a lot of people were like, yeah, that sounds really reasonable. Like this year is still kind of hectic and we don't know where things are with, social distancing and, people in the vaccine. So it's like,
I hope you're not going to say this got political or like weird. Okay,
no.
Good.
So they got added to the vote. And most people were pretty receptive to it. So it looks like the one that got the highest vote was for it to actually be postponed a year. So
good.
Our 10-year reunion will be our 11-year reunion, which is like, cool, man. That's super dope that collectively a lot of people were like, you know what? It's kind of hard to do anything this year. And if we do get it to happen this year, who's going to go and how safe will it be? So our 10-year reunion will happen next year, which was, I think, that's what I voted for. I was like, yeah, fuck it. We'll do it. Let's do it next year. The one thing I did right in the comments that I added was like, I just made my joke like, hey, like whatever date you pick, I'm cool with it as long as there's an open bar. And people are just like, yeah, thumbs up, likes. And I was like, oh, cool. The guy who created the page gave me a haha emoji. So maybe it's going to get kind of a little lit up in here. So it might actually be like a fun time. But anyways, because of that 10-year kind of hitting me, a lot of me working that last week and this week of me listening to music has been just music from the 2000s.
Yeah.
Just kind of like
somebody
once. Yeah. It's been really good. It's kind of just like a blast from the past.
I definitely peaked the mic on that. I'm happy with it.
Lastly, the one thing I watched this week that wasn't Attack on Titan and Pacific Rim The Black was the last episode of WandaVision. I know you watched it too.
I did watch that too.
I'm going to say, as a whole, I really enjoyed WandaVision as a show. The last episode wasn't as exciting as I hoped it was going to be, but I liked it all, and I had a good time. There was a lot of, at a certain point, just kind of people floating in the air shooting lasers at each other, and I was like, that's
it's
cool.
Marvel.
That feels pretty super. That feels pretty, status quo-y, But yeah, I think it was overall a good show, and I'm excited for whatever the next Marvel stuff is. Maybe not super jazzed about like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just because it's probably not going to be as good as WandaVision. But other stuff like Loki is coming in, down the way, and even the What If animated series that's going to happen. So yeah, I enjoyed the series, and for what it was. So I don't know how you felt about it, because we had talked about maybe watching it together. So
yeah, sorry, it's getting to that time. I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but I really had a good time, and I think the end of the show was pretty consistent with the rest of it. So the conclusion, I don't know. I guess it felt good. It felt fine.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we had a little bit more. I was enjoying what the show was doing. I feel like it wrapped itself up nice and quick. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the last episode was kind of just a big battle and like bunch of backstory and progression.
Yeah,
and
then like an
emotional
end credit.
Stuff.
It was 40 minutes long, so it's like overall, all of this combined is more than any Marvel movie ever.
Oh yeah.
I think things I didn't care about too much was the Monica Rambeau story arc. She's acquired some sort of abilities, and she got the first end credits bit or whatever, and I was like, don't really care about that.
I honestly don't remember the first end credits bit.
It was her going to the theater, and they're like, "Hey, someone upstairs wants to see you," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." She'll probably end up showing up in the next
some Nick Fury shit.
Yeah, that stuff, or she'll probably end up being maybe like a little bit in whatever the next Captain Marvel is.
Yeah.
And then the end credit after that was Wanda doing some magic stuff. It's like, oh, that's cool.
I mean, without spoiling it, yeah.
I really, the one thing I was kind of like bummed out about is I really did want there to be one last like big cameo, like, oh, we get to see a certain person. But there's a podcast I listened to, and they were kind of discussing it, and they're like, you know what? Say they did get a good cameo, like say they got someone massive or whatever, that's just going to up the budget so much. And the reason they're doing this show is because like, hey, we can do the shows at this quality. Is like, but if the budget is huge because we get Robert Downey Jr. in for like 10 minutes or whatever, like what's the point kind of thing? Might as well have made a movie at the end of the day. And I go like, no, that's a good point. They got to think of it as a whole. So even though there wasn't that one extra person, somebody, super special at that last episode, I was like, you know what? I still had a good time. So
well, yeah, I actually heard about that after you told me about it. It was just Paul Bettany being like, "Oh, I was just making a joke."
He's being cheeky, yeah. He's being like, "Oh, I'm someone I admire and I've always wanted to work with." I was like, "Oh, yourself." And the thing that's super funny is that like even before that episode had dropped, they had addressed that. I think they're like, "Oh, guys, like he's just making a joke. Settle down or whatever."
Big joke.
People had deciphered it like, "Well, we did see that. Okay, this makes." And I was like, "Yeah, that does make sense." That's funny is that some people are actually mad about it, and then other people are just like, guys, this is just the kind of person he is. He is just a joke. He doesn't care. It's like, it's not that serious. I'm like, I agree. It also isn't that serious. So.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely the last little in bit with Wanda leads me to believe that now we're gonna have a couple of different sorcerers interacting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I agree. There's gonna be some hijinks afoot.
Some wizard shit going on. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Yeah, WandaVision really surprised me with how good it was. I didn't expect to enjoy it that much. And then I breezed through it. It was a great time. I enjoyed every second.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I guess the next thing we can talk about is anime we watched. My list is super short, like I said. So if you want me to go first, I'm more than willing to go first.
Let's see what you got to say, man. Let's do it, and then I'll do the rest.
Okay, so the one show I got around to, and I really like I was telling you, like I'm busy because of animating and stuff. It's kind of crunch time for my school, but I could not go the week without watching the newest episode of Attack on Titan.
It's true.
Holy shit, was it multiple bennies? Actually, Trip, I might have actually watched. We'll talk about this. Anyways, the newest episode of Attack on Titan. Had a bunch of characters who, they all have their own motives, and they're all meeting in this like one location, and it was super cool to see them all kind of collect, right? And because we don't want to spoil stuff, all I'm gonna say is that a couple characters that I'm not super keen on get bashed pretty hard in the face and on the dome.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, this is what I've been fucking, itching for.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I still don't know what's going to happen. We had talked about this, I think, over text. There's the idea, and I know it's not just our idea. There's a lot of people out there saying it, that they don't actually believe that these 17 episodes for the final season are the actual final episodes.
Yeah, like there's going to be more coming. Yeah,
because they keep talking about it as like, hey, it's the final season, it's the final season. But a lot of people are saying like, yeah, but no one's saying it's a series finale. Like no one's saying
exactly.
That. Like, so like, yeah, it might be the final season, but maybe it's like final season A and B. And you were speculating like, what if like, this is the end of Attack on Titan, but we get one more season and they rename it something else. Like
there's the possibility of that happening. Sure.
And you're like, hey, what if it's like the Restoration of Titan? I was like, hey man, that's pretty good. I like that idea a lot better than like the dumb name I came up with. But yeah,
I thought that's what you.
No, you came up with Restoration of Titan, which I thought was pretty funny.
I don't remember. Yeah.
You don't remember nothing.
I don't remember anything I say, man. Clearly, I'm like, no, that wasn't an idea from my brain. Wasn't everything from yours?
No. But yeah, I think there's only 3 more episodes.
Yeah, there's 3 more of Black Clover as well. So if Attack on Titan actually does end, which it doesn't seem like it's going to, then it'll end at the same time as Black Clover, which I think is pretty wild.
Yeah, especially since Black Clover is only 50 episodes long.
It's only 50 episodes long, and that's why I watched all of it.
You should go check it out. It's only 50 episodes long. Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite episodes of Attack on Titan in a while. Just seeing people react to things being brought to light, just like the way they react.
Everything. And finally, it hit me. It took until this episode for it to hit me, This one, I was just like, fuck, dude, that family, man. Oh, God. The dad's just so wandering through the forest too long. Like, come on, man. Dude, it hit me good, and I was into it.
The part that hit me was after the dad speech. I was like, because I was like, you know what? Yeah. Fuck both sides. Fuck all sides, right?
Yeah, like, that's the whole deal. Yeah.
And it's because everybody's just like, oh, these are the bad guys. These are the bad guys. Like, no, everybody's bad.
Well, that's why like Armin and Mikasa are so just like, come on, dude. Because they're smart. Yeah. They're like really good people.
Yeah, but I want to say, I'm not surprised by Armin because Armin's always been a smart guy. Mikasa kind of, just because she's always been so loyal to Eren. Like, she's loved him and protected him for so long. And it just goes to show you that she is her own character, where she's just like, hey man, I love you. I protect you. I don't know if I agree with what's going on. And I'm,
that's the way that it works, dude. That's the way that siblings work. That's the way that like relationships work. It's all, you have to constantly like check up,
I honestly thought like, that she was going to be so gung-ho for whatever he's down for, just because that's kind of her MO, right? Like Eren does something stupid because like, I'm there to make sure you're okay because like I have this mad love and loyalty for you. But I guess there's a level, like there's a limit to like, what someone can do to be like, you know what? No, fuck you. I have to check you because I don't agree with what you're doing.
Which is just fantastic. And it pulls away from that like anime trope of like having that cast of characters that will always support the protagonist. It just pulls it back into like a very authentic, real place. I feel like Attack on Titan is just this show that's going to tower above all others for so long. And it's earned it every step of the way. I'm surprised and happy and relieved. I feel like all the weird shit that happens in this show should have somehow become too convoluted and all of the story gone like awry. But then when you're watching and you're just like, oh yeah, that reference back to an early episode in season 1. Now I know so much more about the situation and I've been given context that makes me feel differently about everything. It's just crazy how often those kinds of things are able to happen without it feeling like it's just like, and then this happens, which will make this part better. It's like, it just feels like these characters interacting are so real. It's, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird to see something do this well.
what I really liked about the whole, dad giving the speech and it kind of like calming everybody down and be like, hey man, cooler heads can prevail. We all need to like take a moment. If he's like, if I can forgive, if my wife can forgive, it's like, then we can all like keep moving and like be better. And I was like, wow, what a fucking deep, good thing to say. I know other people like Armin and Mikasa might think it, but they haven't said it. They haven't outspokenly said it to other people. And I was like, yeah, that's fucking great. And then there's just this intense moment afterwards where someone else grabs a knife. I was like, oh my God. I was just like, this, and I was like, this will never end. Because it's like kind of like the real world, right? Like, it's like, yeah, like you can say all these nice things, but not all those nice things aren't going to convince everybody, So it's like this one person's like, I don't forgive you for what you did. I hate you with every like being of my person. Like, I want you dead. I was like, shit, this is too much. I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't right now.
But then right after that, like going into the end of the like
another one.
Yeah. Oh fuck, dude, I'm so goddamn tired. And then like as the character's saying that, just super casually, just like,
hey,
okay,
what's up?
Here we go.
That was so People, it almost felt like I was like, am I tripping? Like, because this is so seamless. It was just like.
I loved it. The like
we need to talk.
No music or anything, just like a sudden
hey, it's like, hey, can we sit down and talk? I was like, I honestly thought Trip was like, I'm imagining this. Like, this is like my brain's making this up because this can't be happening. This can't be really what
it felt so good. It was so exciting. It was one of the best cliffhangers I've seen in television ever. Anyways, it also like a lot of people were comparing it to its just casual handling of a big moment to that point in season 2 where you get to see the armored and colossal titan just be like, all right, so we are these two. Anyways, as another conversation is going on. And
it's like, hey, can we talk real quick?
Right. And if I hadn't already figured it out at that point, I would have been absolutely floored that that's how it happened. Instead, I'm like watching, I'm like, whoa, they're doing it. Here we go.
I was like, this, when that happened to me, I was like, this is fucking nuts. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, is this a joke? This can't be fucking for realsies.
Yeah, so it had that same feeling of just an absolute bombshell dropped out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. This show is so good. It's so good. Anybody that hasn't watched Attack on Titan yet, fortunately, it's consistently good through the last season. You don't have anything to be worried about. I don't think it's going to be a Game of Thrones experience because we already know what Mappa's capable of for this last season. And to know that, like, whether there's 3 episodes or 16 episodes left, whatever, it's already shown that they are on a very set path following the manga. And there's no reason to change it. Like, the last 2 chapters still need to come out. That's all I know.
What I wanted to say, when you said Game of Thrones, like, yeah, we all know the reasons this finale Game of Thrones sucked ass was because Mappa really dropped the ball with that one.
They absolutely fucked up Game of Thrones.
God,
Mappa was focusing too much on what was airing? Fucking another.
The one with the girls that play cards. Isn't that Mappa?
The girls that play cards.
The girls that play the gamble. The
Kakegurui. Yeah.
That's Mappa, right?
Yeah. They were focusing too much on Kakegurui and Dororo at the time, so they just had to. Yeah.
You know what? Now that we think about the whole, like, hey, is it really gonna be done at 17? Especially since there's a couple chapters left. Maybe it is. Maybe there's a latter half, more like an epilogue, and it's like there'll be whatever completes a 2 cour. So I think it's 17 episodes. So they'll be like, hey man, here's another 7. Like, this is the epilogue and we're done. Because I really don't want it to be over. I would love to have as much, I would love for it to continue forever, but obviously things have to come to an end. And
I can't wait until it ends in a way where I'm like, damn, it's really over, huh? It's going to have that feeling. I'm getting ready for it.
It's going to end Sopranos style, cuts to black and in the middle of a sentence, and you go, what? Like, that's it. Go fuck yourself.
Yep. I really need Attack on Titan to get me with the old go fuck yourself.
Oh, what if it ends with Eren waking up from a dream and it's just like, oh, it's all pretend. It was all a dream the whole time. That'd be the worst.
That would be a cool dream, though. Yeah, he's just like in that field from the first episode, napping under the tree.
Okay. I had to look it up real quick while I was talking. It turns out I did actually watch one other anime, and it's the 8th episode of The Promised Neverland from season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I had to look it up because that's how much I forgot about it. Like,
it's because we've checked out at this point. Like, the studio checked out, we will too. It's fine.
This hands down is the best anime of the seasons, bar none. It's honestly the second best season of Promised Neverland we've ever had, so that's something, you know.
You are right about that, dude. You are 100% correct.
In this most recent episode, yes, we got what Juan wanted. We got a fucking flashback. We got to see what was going on. But the entire time I was watching the entire time I was watching this, I was like, you know what? All of this would have been great as like
if it was
episodes.
Like, you know,
if it was
over
half
there,
the season.
we actually got to see this stuff going on.
And if we got to meet the characters and develop a relationship.
So here's something that I'm not going to go into detail with because it's spoilers for the manga. But in the show, there are 4 friends, right?
Yeah.
There's
4 extra baddies, yeah.
There are 4, whatever you want to call them. There's the 3, there's the 2 guys and the girl, and then there's the guy with the bag over his head, right?
Yes, baghead.
So Mr. Bag Boy shouldn't exist.
Well, he does, so.
And the reason he shouldn't exist is because in the passage of time, he would be a different age in the manga than he is in the show, which significantly changes what his character is. And I don't know if you noticed this, but during the whole like backstory sequence that you've been looking forward to so much, only 3 of those 4 friends were shown being saved. So where the fuck did he come from? We're just going to go over that.
Baghead was there too. Baghead was there too, bro. He was in the background, okay? You didn't see Baghead. I saw Baghead because I was keeping an eye out for him. So
Okay.
I'll screenshot it. I'll send it to you.
All right. But I was just like, okay, he literally shouldn't exist in this world. And I didn't think of that until they didn't show him being rescued.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
They just didn't have time. They just didn't have enough time in the
I do not want to spoil anything, but it's physically impossible for him to be who he is at this point. Because, like, I mean, that would be like if Phil showed up and you never saw
Phil the whole time.
You never saw how Phil. Yeah, exactly. Like, they would be like, "Oh yeah, Phil. We all knew he was going to be a major character, so we threw a bag over his head, and we were like, you remember that fucking kid from the farm? Look at him now." It would be like doing that. Like, it feels so weird and not like real. It feels like there's going to be some other reveal to it, but it's just a person that's somebody. Just like the others.
In the most recent episode, it was like a bunch of busy work. It's like, we gotta find these people. I fucking love. There's a sentence where someone's line is just like, "Hey, we found you." I was like, "The fuck? You found them? They found you. They literally came and saved you." You know, at a certain point, it's like, "Oh, I can't believe we found you." It's like, no, you don't even. You guys are geniuses, but you guys don't even know how finding someone works. And then it leads to like this giant town getting burned down and attacked and slaughtered. And I was just like, yeah, okay. So and it ended with being like, we're different people. And I was like, nah, this is fine. This is all okay.
So kids wandered through the forest for a week, like mindlessly, right? Just looking for what they were looking for. And then wherever the fuck they were was apparently close enough to their base, so they weren't even going that far. Yeah. In order to jet back over and see the city as it's just being burned down.
Yeah.
Like,
these geniuses are... You know what?
The fastest geniuses alive.
What's funny is that Sierra... Because they would pull out a map and then they'd be like, let's go here. And there's like a little triangle on the map. And then like before, no one drew the triangle. It was just already a triangle on the map. Like, yeah, this is like an old shrine or something. Like, okay, let's go there. And then they'd open the map again and be like, let's go to this next triangle. And then they kept doing that. Sierra's like, you're just going to keep going to the triangles. Like, maybe don't check where the triangle's at, because you keep going to the triangles and they're not there. And guess what? They found them and they weren't in a triangle area. But also, that's really, you're right. They were close enough to get back to the village in like record time.
I have so many problems with this show.
Maybe time moves different in the demon world. We don't know that. Okay, we can't speculate how time works,
and we will not get to meet the character that would explain how time works. Yeah. Because it's the anime and not the manga. So the time character isn't in it, motherfuckers.
There's no way time doesn't work in this world.
Yeah, there's no way for the time character to physically exist in this world. They would have explained it during one of the arcs that they cut out. Come on.
Idiots. Great show. I can't wait for this season to end. That's it though. That is all the anime I was able to watch besides Pacific Rim, The Black. So what else did you watch, Trip?
You know what? Let's continue with the old the Black thing. I watched Cells at Work, Code Black, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess I don't want to spoil much, but we had a character die, so our main character's being a mopey little guy, and then by the end of the episode, he realizes he has to get his shit together because this body's got gout, motherfucker.
I like when gout was more serious than like cancer and like kidney stones.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: like the cancer is from the like super chill time.
Oh, the good
from the
good
night
show.
Yeah. Like when it shows what cancer did to the body, it didn't kill nearly as much as all of these other things have killed in Code Black. Anyways, so he stopped moping around and he's just a red blood cell. So like he's just gonna keep delivering oxygen now. But they've had a whole thing going on for a while about the white blood cells like all being dead. We got more. They've come as reinforcements. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, everyone's like, yeah, dude, this body's just dying. Like, it fucking sucks.
I have a question. I know, I wasn't the best at anatomy or biology when I was in school.
Me either.
But I know that the white blood cells are the ones that like kind of keep you healthy or whatever, the ones that fight off stuff. And you said in Black, they're all gone, right? They're like, I think it was even last episode, you're like, hey, there's like not a lot of them out there. Isn't AIDS one of those things where like your like demolishes your white blood cells, or is there a bunch of are there other diseases that also do that? Like
I like how you're like I didn't really pay much attention in like anatomy. So, anyways, on to AIDS, like that's
or biology, right? Like isn't that like I've seen plenty of movies about
it for sure it lowers it lowers your white blood cell count.
Is this because in Black this guy seems to have everything, right? Like he's just like the sickest human being ever. Do we know, is there like a word as to why like he's
because he treats his body like shit. He treats his body like me, man. Just drinking, smoking every day. That's all I do, baby.
So you're telling me your white blood cells are just super low, huh?
I mean, you know, he's also older than me, so.
Oh, okay. Does your body stop making those at a certain point? I don't really know the answer to that.
I'm watching an anime, dude. Like,
I'm asking you a question.
Can you back the fuck off? I don't know shit. God. I just said I also didn't do well. Let's go. And you're like, do you know everything?
Come on, ask Wes. Like, oh. Wes will let us know.
Wes is gone, man. Nobody even knows who. Anyways, I don't have any answers for you, and I don't feel like I should be the person to give those answers on a podcast. Google
You're
it.
Not a doctor.
Google's going to help you a lot more than I ever would.
I guess I'll Google it.
I can make jokes about it. Not good ones either, but I could make them.
So gout. We got gout.
That's that episode. Moving on. Horimiya. Very good time. I know you haven't seen it, but guess what? It's just more of the same shit. It's very good. It's very cute. It's very fun.
How was the intro and outro?
Always slap. In different ways, too. In different ways. You'll get there. It's fine. Okay. The old fucking Horny Boy Show. That's what we're calling it. Horny Boy Show.
Something.
Yeah. The jobless reincarnation. He grabbed the cat lady's ass and it was like as hard as steel. And he was like, wait a second. And then he's just like knocking on it. And then he got horny and he wanted to fuck the little girl and it got really uncomfortable. And then the other half of the episode was actually enjoyable. So it's always just like, they trick me. Every time I start watching it again, I'm like, why the fuck am I watching it? And by the end of it, when I just watched all the good stuff, I go, that was fucking good. Like, it's solid fantasy stuff again and again, but it's mixed in with extra horny fantasy stuff and very like not cool, man. Like he's pretty much a pedophile, but he's a 10-year-old boy or whatever.
I feel like it's just best not to get into the logistics of the show anymore. It's obviously a bad show with a creepy dude, and he hasn't. You know what? Next time we talk about this show, just tell me if he redeemed himself yet, because that's the only reason you said that you're really watching it, because he's supposed to redeem himself. But
I read more about it. And what we're getting here is we're getting essentially a prologue. So it's going to take a while.
He'll redeem himself in season 2.
I don't know about season 2. Like, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know what this show, because apparently most of it takes place when he's like an adult in this new world, new body. It's apparently pretty big. I don't know when we'll get there, but we are doing like time skips every few episodes. We're like, man, a couple more years and a couple more years. And it always feels like it's happening at appropriate times to where it's like, yeah, we understand what they're going to be doing for a while. We don't need to watch their day in, day outs. We'll just check out some of the highlights and kind of fill in the gaps, explaining like, yep, this was hard, overcame it, whatever. It feels good. But again, just half the episode, man. Come on. Give me a better show. Then let's move on to Cells at Work is done, I think. Okay. So I didn't talk about it, but there was an outro that felt like a very like end of the season outro. I just thought it was because it was end of the cancer story arc, which is like kind of a big deal since it's a callback to season 1 as well. It's just 9 episodes long, I think.
I think it's yeah. I can look it up real quick, but I think it is supposed to be a small season.
Yeah, it was just a shorter season, so we are absolutely done with that. Skate the Infinity. It's more guys skating. It's still enjoyable. It's a good time. It's. I mean, what else is there to say, man? We got a big race in this last episode, and our main red boy and our main blue boy haven't been talking for a little bit, and then they re-inspire each other, and that's the episode. It was chill. So Cells at Work season 2, the episode count is 8, and Code Black is 13. Just if you're wondering. All right, well, we're almost done with Code Black, so that's interesting. Other Side Picnic. What do you want to know about that, man? It's more of the same.
Okay, so that's all I really need to know. I know I don't want to watch it, so
we're almost at the point where the girl that they've been looking for is actually important.
Okay,
so that's good. And Wonder Egg Priority was a recap. And here's the thing. I knew it was a recap. I was not interested in watching it. And then Kyle said he heard from somebody that it was more than a recap. So we watched it. And it was just a recap. You absolutely do not need to watch it. It doesn't add a single thing. It just summarizes. It like spends time with each character's story and just telling about them. And it has
to not watch it, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really good week to not watch it. The only character that hasn't really been shown too much backstory is the girl that everyone thinks is very, very pretty and handsome.
Okay.
Yeah, so we still haven't seen much of her. So in this recap, it was like, here's I's recap. She's the main character. And here's another character and another one. And this one's here. So we're just going to show the one fight she had where it didn't really go into much detail. Yeah, it was good. I mean, when I say it was good, I mean, it was a good recap episode. They did a good job summarizing everything without it feeling like, oh, I've seen this before. But I think that's just a testament to how good everything has been up to that point. And of course, there's been some kind of an issue in production, and that's why these episodes happen. So they are, going to be back on, or are back on track.
And just to be clear, this is the recap episode. This is technically last week's episode, because this week's episode drops today, the day we record, right? So
I think it drops on Tuesdays, but yeah.
If people are like, oh, actually, last week, yeah, we know. We fucking know. But on the level that we watch it, this would be the recap. So, yeah, there's an episode out there now that we could watch.
Dude, let's be topical as fuck right now. If you wanna bring up that, this episode is another fucking holiday episode. I don't know what the holiday's called yet, but it's the day that the potatoes came back to Taco Bell. So that's fucking huge, baby. March 11th, we did it. It's back.
What do we do? Oh, tomorrow, with the day that this drops. Fuck, I wanted to go get Taco Bell potatoes now.
Well, if you wait until midnight.
Do you think they would? They'd probably like, sorry, no.
No
like,
we'll see you tomorrow. Way. Like, that's for tomorrow's staff to worry about, not us. Fuck you.
It's like, but I know you have them back there. I know you have them.
You already have it prepped. Anyways,
I think you brought that up last week. You're like, hey, man, Taco Bell's potatoes are coming back, even though they're already there.
I know. Well, it's funny because I remembered a while ago when they were like, we announced it. It's coming back. And I'm like, cool, but like, remind me later. And then TikTok has been a good thing of reminding people that, apparently. I'm not on TikTok. I just see the highlights and like whatever my friends send me. And Emily sent me one that was like all about Taco Bell bringing back the potatoes on March 11th and how we just have to make it until March 11th and then everything's going to be okay.
Everything be cured.
And here we are, man. We made it.
Speaking of TikTok, since we're bringing it up, I'm going to say TikTok is having a great time with Attack on Titan, and I'm having a great time watching them talk about like it's the episode of Attack on Titan. People doing dumb shit. Nothing, surprisingly, nothing being spoiled for me. So good job as community for not like spoiling shit.
Shout out.
But I've been seeing some pretty good shit. Just like people will be like, "Hey, man," like dancing to the intro, making jokes about people thinking they're right when they're actually wrong. Just people hating on Gabby, people hating on fucking Aaron. It's great. It's just a good time. So good job, TikTok. Keep up the good work.
Shout outs to TikTok. Who would have thought we made it this far together? I love you, TikTok. Kiss, kiss.
Kiss, kiss, bang, bang.
Kiss, kiss.
Okay, so I think that's it, right? That's all the shows you watch, right?
Fuck you.
Did you watch the girls?
Sure,
the
fucking did. Okay. How dare you forget about my?
I remembered and I corrected myself.
I don't care. I just wanted to try to bring it, but I felt bad the whole time I was doing it. I love you. I appreciate you, and it was another non Viore.
Okay, I love you
non-stop episode. We got it. We did it, boys. We're there. We're watching it. We're having a good time. It's more of the same shit. You love it. I love it. That's how it goes.
Is that all the anime you watched?
Yeah, that's all the anime I watched.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Can we please talk about the anime news?
I guess. What do you want to hear about first? Oh, hey, wait. Let's get into the news, everyone. I got some good news this week. Let's not go into this bummed. First off, controversial, but Violet Evergarden the movie is coming to theaters this month, March 30th, baby.
Can't wait to go watch it with my friends. I'm so excited. We're going to go to the showing that's dubbed, right? Because I know how much you love the dub.
We're not going anywhere. I'm not vaccinated. I'm not taking any risks. Fuck that noise.
Wait, you said March 30th?
Yeah, like 3 weeks from now. I'm going to be like knee deep in Monster Hunter. Elbow deep, actually. We're getting deep. We're going up to the neck.
Yeah, that technically wouldn't be 2 weeks after my second vaccine, so also shouldn't go.
Yeah, you shouldn't do it, man. It sucks to suck.
I'm sure they'll drop on something.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's like, oh, I'm so stoked. Anyways, we got to wait longer. But this means that we're that much closer to getting it. Netflix has the rights to Violet Evergarden, but Funimation is the one that brings it to theaters. So, yeah, we'll get to see it when we get to see it. Sucks, but
for sure.
We'll be patient. We'll wait. Cool. The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, baby. It's coming October this year.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm not excited about this because I don't watch it, but I'm pretty excited for so many people. Fruits Basket, the final season, is beginning April 5th. It's like right there, dude.
Yeah, super close. Yeah, for sure.
People are fucking getting the end. For years, people have read the manga, loved it, been like, let's watch the TV show. It's also good. Or vice versa, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, they're getting the full adaptation. They're getting the brotherhood that they've been waiting for.
They deserved it after years of asking for it.
They totally do.
Yeah.
Wild.
I just want the brotherhood to happen for Promised Neverland. When can we get that going on?
I'll give it 10 years. It's fine. In 10 years, I'll be ready for it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel had a TV anime project announced. So,
cool.
People are concerned about it that are fans of this, of the series, the video game series. Like, video game adaptations, who knows how they are, right? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I really like the Final Fantasy 15 little spin-off series they did. That was rad, but it's not always good. Anyways, The Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2 got announced.
Yeah.
Everyone
that did
has been asking for it.
Yeah. That blew my mind. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that show. I remember liking that show. And I was talking to Sierra about it. And Sierra's just like, that show's not that great. I was like, yeah, whatever. That's just your opinion, dude.
It is. And here's the thing. When we started the podcast, it was kind of recently a big deal, I think.
It was available. I think it was added to Netflix. Yeah. It's like, hey, it's on Netflix. Kind of thing. It was
something like that.
Yeah.
And you and I had both watched it. I stopped watching it and you finished it. Mm-hmm. I really liked the beginning of the show and didn't like where the show wound up, but you liked the entire thing. And they did a great job. I liked a lot of the things that they did. And the fact that there's actually gonna be a season 2, of course now people are like, Spice and Wolf, No Game No Life. Like, what's gonna happen? We've been asking for these for years. Are we gonna get them? So who knows?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
You know what's funny is that we always talk about the Spice and Wolf thing, like, because people like, when is season 2 coming out?
Yeah, Spice and Wolf is one of those things that's been asked for years.
But I've never seen it. I have no idea what it's about. But isn't there already a second season? It's like Spice and Wolf season 2 or something like that?
Yeah, but we're talking
Spice
about
and Wolf 2.
Yeah, but we're talking about season 3. People want
season 3 is what they want.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool.
So
yeah, I don't know. It's Devil's a Part-Timer season 2 isn't something like I expect it ever to drop because it's been so long. But I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the first season. Who knows? Maybe my taste has changed. Maybe I'll be like, this is stupid. Kind of like how you changed when you watched the second season of Umaru-chan. You're like, yay! I really love the first season. I remember you raving about it.
Dope.
And then second season came out, and you're like, nope,
nah, not for me.
Not having it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Happens.
Another thing that I'm definitely not going to watch that I did watch the full first season of. The Misfit of Demon King Academy Season 2 was announced, so that's going to happen eventually. It's going to be 24 episode split cour. So get stoked. I think most people that really enjoyed it just were kind of... I feel like it fit this void. There was something that I was looking for that season, and I couldn't find, and this was the closest thing to it. Not sure what it was. Not sure if it was very action-y or very comedy or the combination of them that I was looking for. But the first episode, it kept me watching it at least. Season 2, I don't think I'm that interested. But I've been dropping a lot of shows after one season lately. Like, I haven't watched any of Dr. Stone or any of Slime. And I committed to a full 24 of both of those, right?
Yeah. Did you? Yeah, you actually watched all of Slime. I for sure dropped.
I know you dropped it.
But yeah, you also did watch Dr. Stone. I think it was your final thoughts on Dr. Stone was you're like, hey, is season 2 could drop, and if there is a horrible season of anime, maybe I'll watch it. But I guess you've enjoyed stuff enough to check it out.
I mean, clearly I'm watching 9 shows. That's pretty big.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Season 2 just reminds me a lot about season 1. It's not like it's blowing my mind or anything.
Why not?
But they built a tank. It's fucking crazy.
It is fucking crazy. I did see a meme that was about them creating hentai. They're like, we're going to make hentai, We're going to learn how to do that. And I thought that was funny. I laughed. And then I continued on. and sent you that Attack on Titan meme.
Yeah.
Of everyone eating McDonald's at dinner. Yeah, and I agree. The Beyblades was easier to like be stoked about seeing. This one was just kind of like hey, it's a very important moment. What if we memed on it, you know?
Yeah, what if we made fun of it?
That was all it was, but...
That's all it was. I understand. It's okay.
I don't have any more news to talk about, so I am stoked to talk about Pacific Rim The Black, the new anime series on Netflix by Polygon Pictures. What?
I wanted to say something.
Okay, well, you can go ahead, because I'm not actually stoked about this. I don't give a fuck.
Cool. Okay, cool. You're in it. I don't know if you got the chance to watch. When you watch your anime, how do you watch? Do you watch it online, or do you?
Yeah.
Do you like stream it on your computer and stuff?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to check out the new beta for Crunchyroll?
No.
Okay, I did.
When did that come out?
I don't know. Monday at least. You know,
okay.
I saw Attack on Titan.
I watched it on Sunday, so maybe they rolled it out right after.
Well, you also have to I'm sure you would have saw it, but there's like a button when you get into Crunchyroll, like, hey, do you want to try our new beta? I was just like, okay, cool. Honestly, so far, like first impressions, I think it looks pretty clean.
Shout outs to that Sony thing, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't expect us to get a beta. I expected anything, if anything, for the site to get worse.
Yeah, I think it's only for some people, man.
Oh, you don't. Oh, it's fucking bummer, dude.
Yeah, it's all good. It just means it's gonna happen later.
Huh. I guess I'm trying to like log into it right now so I could see if I still have it. Yeah, it still says beta. So yeah, it's just like organized. I think it looks a little bit cleaner. At least on my drive, it has like, you know, top picks, continue after that, and then like the animes that you want to, you know, watch because like, hey, you like this show kind of thing. And it just, I don't know. I think it looks nice. I'm excited to see if they improve it even more. It also does a thing where like Netflix and Hulu, you can make your own profile. So if you're sharing with someone else, say like, hey, I'll log into my profile and this is my Crunchyroll. And like you log into your Crunchyroll profile and you get to pick little icons. And my icon is the blue turtle from Tower of God, because the things you're allowed to pick from are obviously only like Crunchyroll originals and then like the little chibi shits. So yeah, I'm gonna keep like trying out the site, like what it looks like.
This whole thing, because I'm looking at a Crunchyroll article about it. Their whole setup looks like the PS5 app. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the PS5 app is fucking trash.
Right.
They don't know how to work yet. So I had to like stream stuff off of my phone because it was inconsistent at different times. Funimation's way worse, literally will not work. But yeah, I loved the way everything looked because it was all like dark themed and just looks clean and crisp. I don't know. I like it.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Because Sony, that's PlayStation. Sony now has Crunchyroll. Yeah, I think it's cool that they would like take the time to be like, all right, let's give us like a nice cosmetic update. Yeah.
So yeah, right now it's only available to a limited set of premium users and is eventually going to become available to all premium subscribers, followed by all free users in the United States. You could opt in and out of the beta experience as you like. So if you're not having a good time, you could opt out of it. And there's also some areas to share information about it, how you're feeling and whatnot, about any issues. That's the beta. That's all the info I got. Cool.
Okay, now we can talk about the show we're talking about this
week. Dude, I am so excited to talk about it. Pacific Rim the Black. We've been waiting for it for a while. It's been getting hyped up. We're about to get the new Godzilla movie, so what's the best way to lean us into that? We watch an anime about fighting big monsters in robot suits. This is a new series made by Polygon Pictures. You know them from things such as Knights of Sidonia, Godzilla, those fucking anime things, and Blame or something. I fucking hate everything that they've made, and here's another one that I'm adding to my list of things that I'll never watch again.
Yeah. To be fair, we did give them a second chance, though. We've decided that
I will always give them a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance.
No matter how much they continue to disappoint Trip, and no matter how much they continue to be the bane of his existence, if they make something new, and if it's on Netflix and it's topical, we will watch it. And Trip hated this. I'm actually surprised he hated it as much as he did. I don't think it's the worst Polygon thing I've seen in the world.
No, it's actually the best.
Yeah, but it's still not at that level where Trip will admit that he loves Polygon pictures, because he does. He can tell it deep in his soul.
I've watched everything they've made, so I must like them.
I don't think I've ever seen Blame. I've never watched like all of Knights of Sidonia.
We didn't watch Blame for the show.
I'm pretty sure you and Sierra just watched it.
Oh, I feel like that's something I had to do because of the podcast. Maybe not.
Maybe we did watch it. I don't know.
Ajin?
Oh yeah. I think we watched that. Or something.
I've seen one episode. We've never done it for the pod.
I don't know. Netflix is so inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Throwback to when I was like, Netflix can do no wrong. Did you see Great Pretender? They're geniuses. Their minds just expanding every single day. Yeah. And then they give us something like this. And then they put out a trailer for Way of the House Husband. And then they fucking ruin everything that's existed. Like, why? Anyways. Pacific Rim the Black. I'm pretty much taking a back seat on this review because I don't have much to say. It was easily the best thing that Polygon Pictures has ever done, in my opinion, as somebody who doesn't like them. The story didn't do anything too substantial, but the thing that made this work so well, I think, is that they followed a very specific mech anime formula. They were just like, if we bring all these things into it, people are going to be into this show, dude! And it pushed me away from it because of how typical it was.
Right.
But I think because it was so typical, it was able to hit like a new level of accomplishment in their line of work, you know?
Yeah. So that's how Trip feels about this show, which is fine. He's allowed to feel that way about this show. I have also looked online, and I have seen it, for the most part, get not the best response, surprisingly, by both communities. And when I say both communities, I mean the communities that love Pacific Rim, and
us rimmers out here. You know, we're just straight rimming it, waiting for the next Pacific to come and fucking drop a new monster on us.
You joke about that, but people really do like Pacific Rim.
It's always been a crazy thing. When Pacific Rim was first coming out, people were like, holy shit, this is going to be revolutionary. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting here like, why? Isn't it just big monsters again? But it's also big robots, though. My bad.
Yeah. Because those came out when I was younger. I'm not going to say young because I wasn't like a kid. But I enjoyed Pacific Rim for the big giant robots fighting the big dumb monsters. But I was also able to kind of pull back the picture and be like, oh, the story's pretty shit, and the actors are pretty shit, and the characters are pretty shit. Oh, it's pretty shit. And like the jokes that they did, like, oh, it's just all kind of shit. But because I wanted to see giant monsters fight giant mechs, so I was like, okay, cool. I can turn off my brain and have a good time. So I enjoyed it. And then they made Pacific Rim Uprising, which is the second movie, which kind of, honestly, in my opinion, came out of nowhere.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
The first movie was, for the most part, left open, and they were like, hey, there could be more of this stuff. But they also nuked them. That's how the first movie ends.
Spoilers, bro. It's been 7 years. I haven't seen it yet.
BT does. We're spoiling all of this.
All of the Pacific Rim universe. If you're not a part of this fan base, you don't deserve to be at this point.
So then Uprising came out. They weren't even able to get the main character from the first movie. I think they killed him off. And then I think Idris Elba, who was also in the first movie, also died. And instead they had his son come in it, and they get John Boyega. I was like, and it was around the time of like Star Wars kind of becoming a thing. So he was the it guy to have in this movie. And that one, it felt like it was like, hey, we're that last movie, but we're going to be more fun, and we're going to have like a younger crew of, Jaeger writers or whatever. And it's going to be more jokes. And it's just like, it was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm still going to turn off my brain to all of this stuff and just kind of watch the giant robots fight the giant monsters. And I was like, okay, I can enjoy it at that level. So this coming out, I was like, cool. As long as they have giant robots fighting giant monsters, I should be able to have a good time. Going in again with no expectations because of one, Pacific Rim not being something I'm super near and dear with because of things that I actually value, which are like character developments, plot points, stories.
We don't value that here.
Not with Pacific Rim. their comedy, their humor, don't give a shit about it. What I like about it is the monsters fighting the robots. And it's Polygon Pictures, so I was like, oh, they have a great track record of just making shit that I don't like.
But man, I am so excited about the new Godzilla and Kong movie because that's just going to be monster fights. And I like monster fights, and I like the designs of those monsters more than these ones.
For people who don't know, Polygon Pictures has nothing to do with the new Godzilla.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely not. But it's just like big monster fights is all I'm saying.
Exactly. So I went in with this with low expectations. And because my expectations were so low, I feel like they reached the bar for me to be like, wow, that wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I am okay with this. If another part comes out, I will watch it. BT dubs, there will be a part 2 because Netflix, and we bitched about this before we did the pod, has decided to just do this bullshit where they give us half a season of something and then cut it off midpoint in a in places that aren't really necessary. Like
some shows plan around it. Other shows do not. This show didn't. BoJack Horseman absolutely did. Like that whole end bit of the last season where he becomes like a teacher or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing was after a giant hiatus.
See, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it makes sense.
Yeah. That seems like a really solid point for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that was all part of the same season. And then watching this, it just felt like, and now it's the next part. Anyways, you want to watch this new Netflix series? And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. And this isn't the first time they did this. We were talking about fucking throwback to Baki the Grappler. I was just like, yo, dude, they cut it off. Season episode 12 after the fight of 2 characters we don't even know. It's like leaving us completely hanging with our main character, Baki, our fucking main guy. I was like, what? It's confusing.
Anime is fucking weird. And then when Netflix is like, we're going to do weird shit too, it makes you feel so just dissonant, I guess. There's not really a good way to put it, but
it feels like sometimes like these companies know it's popular, so they go, okay, let's get our hands involved with it, but don't care to actually do it like justice, Like I was we were talking about TikTok earlier. I, for the first time ever, because usually when I go through TikTok, I just kind of go to like the what's for you page and scrub. But there's places I can go to the left and like search a certain hashtag. There's a way to check like just like topics, and they go like, hey, like it goes like sports, cars and like stuff like that. So anime was one of the topics that you were allowed to pick from. Like, oh, look at them. Shout outs to anime. I obviously get a bunch of anime TikToks because it's like catered towards like the shit that you like to see or whatever. So I feel like Netflix is just one of those companies that's like jump on board of the bandwagon of being like, Netflix anime makes money. Let's put it on our shit. Who cares if we don't do it, the best that we could actually do. So maybe that's why they hire Polygon Pictures.
But there's
because
B-stars and just like they get the rights to good shit. And
they also have a lot of money, right? So they can be like, cool, let's get some really good ones. Let's get Great Pretender. Let's get B-Stars. Let's get...
Carol and Tuesday had one of the best soundtracks to like any anime. I listen to Round and Laundry constantly.
So you know what I'm saying? Like they're able to get a bunch of really good shows that they seemingly have no real involvement with because it's like another studio that just happened to make it. And then when they're like, cool, we also need other animes and we'll put this under our original banner. We'll just get some shit studio do it, like fucking Polygon, or like let's get JC Staff to give us some fucking garbage, what's it called, Backstreet Girls, and then it hasn't been proven yet, but probably Way of the House Husband kind of thing. Like they go like, hey,
it's been proven. That fucking trailer proved everything.
It's anime. It's what you wanted. So like, be happy.
I feel like instead of Way of the House Husband, we should watch Hinamatsuri again.
That's such a good one. Yeah, but we're absolutely gonna watch Way of the House Husband, and we're gonna have a horrible time.
Yeah,
that's just what we do for the pod.
It's true.
So because of that, because of all of the things I said, I was able to watch this show and be like, you know what? Let's see what it is. And it was better than I thought it was going to be.
It was so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Was it good? I'm going to say no, it wasn't good. Like as a show, like you said, the plot wasn't there. The characters weren't that great.
It was formulaic and generic, but Polygon is moving up. Like the second I watched it, I was just like, oh shit, this looks better than anything they've ever done before. They've like figured out certain lighting things. They've made a lot of like extra little details that look solid, and the animation is smoother. Like so many parts of it I was on board with. And then all the rest of the show just kind of
I'm going to say like one thing when it comes to animation like that I thought looked really good was the face stuff that they did, just because historically Polygon pictures, just like when people talk, it just kind of feels really South Parky.
It does,
with the Canadians just up and down. They did a better job.
This felt like it synced up pretty close.
Yeah, and when characters get mad or people get sad, like
you could
cool,
really
like, their emotions,
feel their reactions.
They feel better. Now, have they nailed it for like the entire show? No, because there's times where characters go from one emotion to another one extremely fast, and it doesn't really feel
it looks a little weird,
right? But that also might be a combination of the way it was written and then like the way the voice acting was done because of the directing.
Huge shout outs to this, because 3D animation is not easy for anime. I don't know what part of it makes it so difficult, but consistently in anime, you'll notice that the 3D animation feels off in some way or another. Usually it's the like frames per second. They have to cut down on certain parts and then emphasize other parts being cleaner and smoother. Pacific Rim the Black killed it. Like, I was so surprised. So if they implement this in like an actually good story, I could be on board. This gave me the most hope out of anything Polygon Pictures has ever done. And heads up, there's no Japanese. This is in English. And I felt like it was so appropriate to be in English. Like, all of it felt like it was done really well for what it was. I don't know if it just helped me like get into the world more, because it was kind of just like dorky American shit mixed with dorky Australian shit. But it felt so much more appropriate to just be in English. I don't know why it just felt right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it just kind of worked. There's a lot of times where like these shows get dubbed in English and you go, it just feels bad, and you go, ugh. This one was like, hey man, it doesn't feel bad. It feels like this is the way it should have been done. I have been reading online about a bunch of people being like, who are huge fans of Pacific Rim, being like, this doesn't feel like the Pacific Rim that I know and love.
No, it doesn't.
The comedy's not there. I was like, yeah, you're right, because it feels like Pacific Rim tried to make a hard turn and become an anime, and they did. Like, they're doing all the tropes. Like, I think we alluded to it earlier, but there's a trope where like a kid is, he's not really a kid. He's also like a kaiju, so he's like a half-breed.
Spoilers! They don't find that out until like a part of it.
Said I'm spoiling.
Honestly, right when we started this stream, before we recorded the podcast, we were talking about the show, and I was joking around that everybody dies, and I said that several times. And somebody was in the chat, and he was like, "You guys spoiled it." And she's like, "Sorry, man. We're just talking about the
everybody
show."
Everybody doesn't die though. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
But I feel like, that's a huge anime thing I've seen, and like that's the thing that I was, when I was on my walk, I was thinking the logistics of it, like how would that actually work, like the in the Pacific Rim world that I know from like the movies and stuff, and I go, it doesn't, it really does, it really feels out of place. That combined with like the mech that is also half kaiju, it's like a hybrid thing, it's a biomech. I was just like, that also feels very anime to me.
I mean, not so many things are just like, have you heard of this other mech anime? Like, consistently, that whole thing, the mech that they were in was like part kaiju kind of thing, That is very Eureka 7. The boy being kaiju is very Eureka 7. And these things aren't like big spoilers, by the way, for Eureka 7 or for Pacific Rim the Black. But they are parts of the show which they want you to get surprised about and more intrigued.
But you're not, because if you have like a brain, you go, okay.
Yeah,
I could put two and two together.
When you were watching Gurren Lagann and you're like, oh yeah, this comes from the Beastmen or whatever. Okay, cool. Oh, check out Nia. Turns out some other weird shit's going on, and now the moon's possessed. It felt like that, where it was just very like, oh, we're mixing shit up. Ooh, where's this child from? And then you go, what the fuck? Why?
There's the bit where the child, like, they try to bust him out of the glass, and he busts himself out with like telekinetic powers, and I go, this kid's not human. this kid gets shot and he's fine. And I go like, okay, well that tears it. Absolutely tears it.
He doesn't talk. Like, the characters don't want to give him a name. He's just a white-haired little weird, like, monster boy.
When the biomech Apex punches them and it gets stopped by the kid, I go, oh my god, if this isn't in any anime I have, like that still frame isn't somewhere else, like on either a manga panel or something. I don't know. That is the most anime thing I've seen in so many like episodes of anything.
And whenever we say stuff is like very anime, we mean, oh yeah, that's some kind of a trope, or that's something that's been done in anime and you don't really see in other mediums. It's not an original thought, you know? Mm-hmm. It just feels it's anime shit.
It's something that like we've seen a bunch.
Yeah.
And the only reason reason we can really tell when it happens is because it's out of place in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in place. It's in the perfect place for this world that they're trying to create, right? They're trying to create the anime version of this fucking existing franchise. So they're like, okay, cool. They have to do all these things to get people like us and maybe people who don't know anime to watch and be like, wow, this feels different. Maybe I like it. But a lot of people are kind of upset about it. I think they should just get over it. It's fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. So real quick, the plot, I guess, is this is based after the Uprising, which is the second movie, which forgot existed. But it's about a boy and a girl whose parents are Jaeger pilots. The entire continent of Australia has been kind of given up to the kaiju. They're like, okay, cool, start the operation, which is the blackout, which essentially like abandons them. So they've been stuck there. The kids were stuck there for 5 years in like the bush, essentially. And they're like, our parents are gonna come back. Parents don't come back. They find a mech. They're like, cool, we're gonna make it to Sydney, and we're gonna find our parents.
It's like a training mech, right?
Yeah. And this is after like their entire colony gets killed by a kaiju.
Yeah, like right off the bat, you're just chilling. And you're like, all right, so what's gonna happen? And then everyone just gets fucking blasted. It's like every step of the way, they just have these characters here that they actually want to give names and dialogue and relationships with. They do all that, and then once that's established, immediately they're just like, we are done here. And it's like the first episode.
But you know why I appreciated that? Because I was thinking logistically, like, okay, cool. Now they have this mech. They got to go, like, they're going to, like, I'm like, are they going to pack in the entire village with them? No. Instead, they decide to kill everybody. I was like, you know what? I do respect the idea of, like, them killing people off because it gives a different tone, right?
Yeah.
It's darker. But I did think it was a little much to have everybody in the village die. It kind of blows my mind that not a single person made it. It would have made more sense if like all the people that we saw that they had a connection with die, and then there's like a handful of them like, hey, we're still here, and like, okay, cool, we're gonna go and get help and then come back and save you guys. But now it's just like, cool, now we're the only two main characters. Let's go. And then along, while
that could be good, like killing off characters is a bold thing. Attack on Titan did it, and they got away with it so easily because, I mean, it was a very unique world. It was just new. People wanted to see what was going on. The relationships between the characters were all very different, and you still had a lot of characters left. For this show to kill off all the characters right after they established the connections, it immediately sets a precedence that any character you meet will probably die. So any character that doesn't have any kind of a connection is for sure dead. But any character that has a genuine connection, you know, is possibly going to die in the future. And it just sets that precedent from the first episode.
And I think I do respect that because later on they do kill another character who I thought honestly wasn't to last longer. Like he was kind of like the comedic relief. He, had the skills. He's like, cool. He was a technician for Jaeger. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe they'll just keep him around and stuff.
Nope, gotta kill Bugs Bunny, man.
Yeah, and when they blew off his head, like at the end of the episode, I was like, whoa, I really didn't see that coming. I thought he'd stay at least for like a couple more episodes, but they just fucking plugged him right then and there.
Yeah, they hit him up with that Mr. Peanut,
Yeah.
Bam.
I will say, okay, so after that, they had their mech. They find this boy in a fucking test tube, and like you said, the weapon isn't mechanized and isn't weaponized because it's just a training like pilot one that they can walk around and stuff. They run into like a traveling group of people in the outback who are kind of like bad guys, and they find a new girl, and she has had her memories altered using the same technologies that used to drift.
Been there, man.
Friends. And she kind of joins the crew, and the season ends episode 7, and we meet someone that they call the Sisters that they had mentioned earlier, which is like a cult of people who befriend kaijus, it looks like, because they're friends with like the dog version of the kaijus, and that's it. It just kind of ends really abruptly.
Good show. The thing is, 8 out of 10.
The thing is, the show isn't honestly great because of, it being actually good. Like, I'm not going to recommend this to a bunch of people. Seriously, I'm not going to say, hey man, this is a perfect show. But if you like, fighting robots and monsters,
this is the Transformers of anime.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if you don't go into it with too much expectations, if you kind of just go into it to watch the show, you might enjoy yourself more than you thought you would, which was what happened with me. Trip, I think it's really big of Trip to be able to say that, hey, it looks a lot better than stuff in the past. It's probably the best stuff they made.
This was so much better than anything they have ever made, and it still sucked.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, it's really big of you for you to be able to, because you obviously hate Polygon pictures. For you to say that, I think it's good. It's growth. But Trip makes a lot of good points that it's not the best show when it comes to all the other huge factors that make a good show.
But it's not the worst.
It's not the worst, exactly. I think when part 2 comes out on Netflix, God knows when, I'll probably finish it. We probably won't do a second episode about this. And I'm almost positive Trip said he'd never watch this again.
Yeah, so. No, I'm fucking done. But if they want a second chance, they just gotta ask, So if Polygon. They come in asking me, hey, Trip, we need a second chance on this shit.
Please.
We've
gotten better. We've learned from our mistakes. You know what? You'll get it. Because Trip's the bigger man. Yeah. He'll give you a second chance.
Because the first half of the show was just like a goddamn walk through the park. Just meet some people, they all die. Meet some more people, they're bad people. So who cares if they die? Oh, here's the only important character in the whole show. And he's gonna fucking do some dumb shit at the end. And then we're gonna meet new characters. And these new characters are gonna do a whole thing the anime's never done before. And it's gonna revolutionize mech stories. But I'll never get to see it.
Because you're not gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it unless you ask for that second chance, Polygon Pictures. And I know you. I know that you don't want me to see it. I know that you don't think that you're good enough. But I know that you have it in you to be good enough, Polygon Pictures.
I do want to say, I guess, one thing that we did that you and I talked about that we both agree, hey, this was the kind of interesting way that they used it.
I want to talk about it.
Was the way that they used the neural handshakes, which is like
getting into the Pacific Rim lore. Let's go.
Their mind melding. They did a good job of using it differently in this show. They showed us something that we haven't seen before. People in the past in the other movies have piloted mechs alone. The character essentially watched the memories, melded with the memories of someone who solo piloted, and then his memories were shared, and essentially they called it ghostwriting, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, also one of the ghostwriting, and it makes sense. It's like the memories of a ghost, man.
A ghost. And then one of the bad guys would also use the same technology to kind of like manipulate people and, look into their brains and interrogate them and like also change their memories and block things. I was like, okay, cool. Another cool use of this. So good job. 2 things that I thought were interesting that were added to the world.
Yeah, shout outs to being like, I don't remember if my memories are mine or somebody else's, or I saw their memories. I know all about them. But was it their memories? It was a fun twist on it. So shout outs to that, but mostly just like stick to the formula, boys. Come on. No, that was definitely the best part of the anime, was just that bullshit memory mind fuck stuff. It was great. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and I think that's it, man. That's honestly all we have to say about Pacific Rim: The Black. It's on Netflix now. If you want to watch it, go for it. You're not missing out on anything too crazy if you don't.
Not missing out. Nope.
We don't know what we're doing next week. I probably won't be here.
Juan says he's not going to be here. So, Kate, if you're listening, hit me up.
I would also, just in my opinion, I would also hit up Kate maybe later and not just wait for her to hear the podcast.
Kate, this one's on you. If you don't fucking reach out to me, we're done professionally, bro.
But yeah, hopefully Kate's able to kind of step in. I am kind of on crunch. I'm kind of on crunch for my class, and I really do want to pass it this time. But and not having to do the pod for a week would really help.
If you don't do this bullshit thing that we do to have fun together for 1 week, we are just gonna have problems, Swan. Okay, you got to drop your class in order to keep doing the podcast. I don't want you to quit
on me. But yeah, so I don't know what we're doing. What will happen next week, but hopefully soon we'll have a super special episode that I am actually looking really forward to doing. And you know what I'm talking about. Trip.
Are you talking to me? I thought you were talking to the audience that they know.
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh yeah, I know what you were talking about.
Okay, good. Good. So that's it. If you like our theme song, check out Not Mars on Spotify. Trip, where can we find us?
Facebook.
Where else?
Instagram.
Okay. Where else?
Twitter.
Okay.
Okay.
If they want to get a hold of us,
then do it.
And how would they do that? You piece of shit. Just do your fucking job so I can go.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm being a brat. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram podcast. If you want to send us a tweet at InstaRamenPod.
Podcast in a bit.
And you can shoot us an email, InstaRamenPodcast@gmail.com. Each week, sometime between 8 and 9 Pacific Standard Time, we will start recording and streaming the podcast. It's chill. Come and hang out. We spoil shows. And we have a little bit of before and after talk. It's always a fun time. Thank you guys for listening. Even though, I wasn't as whiny as you would have expected for this episode. I tried to bring it where it was worth it,
Yeah, this is bye from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
What?
Jay, Trip, don't forget.
We'll do it next time.
Oh my fucking God, Trip.